Hello students. So up to now we have discussed the two functions of the management, and that is the planning and the organizing. Now the next function of the management is going to be the staffing. About staffing, it is said that employees are arms and legs of unit, or they are the limbs of a unit. The reason is very simple. Planning generally associated with the work of thinking. We can consider as a brain of a business. Then actually organizing generally implements the function which are decided by the planning. So we consider as a body of a business organization. And to implement the work, we require employee. So the employees or the staffing is considered as the legs or the limbs or the arms of a business organization. And in the language of the Dr. George R. Terry, so he said that staffing is concerned with availing and maintaining satisfactory manpower. Now this is a very important line. There are two things included in that particular statement. Number one is you have to avail. Avail means to recruit the staff, to get the staff, and then after we have to maintain. How we can maintain? By providing proper kind of incentive, good salary, good amenities, that is the facilities, and all kind of welfare activities. If it is done, then staff can be maintained, and not only maintained, we have to maintain the satisfactory staff, that is the satisfactory manpower. Actually, the staffing function of the organization is a very important one. And the employee, and not only employee, the satisfied employee is to be considered as a precious asset of any organization, and which is not mentioned in the balance sheet. When we are preparing balance sheet in accounting, we are not actually including the staff or the employees of the organization on the asset side. We are actually mentioning all the other things of the asset like land, building, machinery, plants, etc., etc. But the most precious or the valuable asset of any organization not included in the balance sheet is going to be the satisfactory or the satisfied employees or the staff of the organization, right? So any organization without staff is like a mere skeleton. The reason is very simple, because without staff no activities can be put forwarded, or no activities can be preceded, or any activity for running it will require staff. So that's why we can say like that. Any organization without staff is like a mere skeleton. And in the staffing, there are so many things which can be included. Now, this is the very important question as far as your examinations are concerned. It can be asking 1 or 2 marks. Which are the activities that can be included into the function of staffing? The number one comes is the recruitment of employee. Recruitment means to get the staff at a proper time, in proper way. It's a proper method, and we have to get the proper qualification. That is, see, when we recruit the staff early, then they will remain idle. We have to pay them salary. If we recruit it late, then our work will become pending, or it will not be completed on proper time. We require the proper qualification also. So according to the work and according to the position, we require properly qualified employees. So these things are dealt in the function of recruitment. Regarding the recruitment, we are going to see in detail when it comes to the 5th chapter, the staffing. All the details are given. Currently, we are just looking at the introduction portion. So first is the recruitment, that is to get the employees. Second comes the selection of employees. Selection we have to make out of the application received by the organization, because there are so many applications will be received by the organization whenever they will announce that there is a vacancy in the organization. So many people will apply for it, and out of that we have to select the most appropriate one or the most suitable one for the organization. Then comes the training. We have to provide them training so that their skill and efficiency can be increased. Then comes the transferring the employee from one place to the another place without any change in its salary structure, authority, or the responsibility. Then comes the promotion. If he is doing a better work, he has given better performance, then we have to provide him additional salary, that is increment, along with increase in the authority and responsibility. Promotion means basically putting the employee from present position to the higher and such a position in which it is beneficial in every aspect. That is the promotion. Then comes the dismissal. If it's not working properly, after giving 2 or 3 notices, it will be dismissed, that is fire out, removed from the organization. Then comes the retirement. Retirement after the particular age. If the organization's policy is such that, let's say 58 or the 60 is the retirement age, then he will be retired, and at the time of retirement, he will be provided so many type of incentives. We can say like incentive, or we can say like that benefits also. Generally the social security benefits like provident fund amount is paid, gratuity is paid, and after retirement pension will be continued in some of the prestigious organizations. Then the welfare activities. Welfare activities means facilities provided by the organization. Like organization is providing the transport facility, that is the bus services. Then they are providing the uniforms. Then they are providing the canteen facility. Then school and colleges for their children. Then the accommodation, that is the quarters, residence available at the company township. So these are the welfare activities. So staffing includes these type of activities, and at present at the staffing they also includes the manpower planning, how we have to plan for the organization. Then human resource development, they will thinking about the development of HR, that's a human resource. Then evaluation of work, how they are doing our work, and last is the job analysis. Job analysis means we have to analyze the job rather than we have to analyze the particular person. So these are the functions situated with the staffing, or they are concerned with the staffing. So basically these 2 questions can be asked, and the one statement, any organization without staff is like a scandal. So it's an important topic of staffing. Now we'll move to the next one, and that is the direction. Now in directing, first of all we are going to see the definition, and you will highlight or underline the definition in your textbook. It's very important one. Direction means to guide and supervise the employee for the accomplishment of objectives. Now if you see the definition, there are 2 important words. Direction means to, first of all we have to guide, and second one, supervise the employee for the accomplishment of objective. Accomplishment means achievement of objective. So in mathematical term we can also say like that, directing is equal to supervising plus guiding, that is the guidance. So this is the definition of directing. Let's have our organization has a very good planning, and then after we have the proper organizing, that is the proper structure to implement the planning. We have the good employees, we have provided them training. Up to now it's fine, but at some particular point of time, if any employee feels any query, any doubts, so at that point of time we have to provide them proper guidance. But for providing the proper guidance, first of all we have to supervise them. We have to see that where they are lacking, where they are facing actual problems. So at that point we have to provide them guidance, and that is the function of directing. So directing is considered as a very important function of management. And what does the directing include? So directing includes to direct the subordinate. Subordinate means junior, generally working under the head of the seniors. Then to supervise them, how they are working. To give orders and instructions for the completion of work. To fix the work, that is to assign the work, what work is to be completed by them. Then to motivate the workers, we have to keep them motivated all the time so that work will be finished in most efficient manner. Then to provide the leadership as and when required. And one thing you will always keep in mind in terms of directing, that the directing is a continuous process, and it's working, and it's actually required at all the levels of management. Now we have studied like that. The levels of management are 3: top level, middle level, and the bottom level. So sometimes it is asked in examination. It's MCQ. That the question will be like this: out of the following, directing or the direction will be required at which level of management? Your option could be top level, middle level, bottom level, or all of this, or all the three levels of management. Then your answer should be all the three levels of management. So it's the last line of the paragraph of directing. So again, you will highlight it. So it is a continuous process and it is required at, it's required at every level of management. So the proportion may vary, like top level may require the less proportion of directing, middle level may require some higher degree as compared to top level, and the last one, bottom level, requires maximum amount of directing. The proportion may vary, but the directing will be required at every level of management. So that's why we can say that it's required at every level of management. So in directing, you will remind three things. Number one was the definition of directing. Direction means to guide and to supervise the employee for the accomplishment of objective. Second question could be direction includes which activities. So this will be your activities. And the last was the MCQ. It is actually required at all the three levels of the management. So that was the directing. And then now the last function of the management is going to be the controlling. So as far as your MCQ is concerned, again you will remind it, planning is going to be the first function of the management, whereas controlling is going to be the last function of management. See, it's the last function where generally management process gets over. Now, what do you mean by controlling? There are two definitions given in your textbook. So, you will put a bracket or you will highlight it. First definition, controlling is the function of maintaining a balance. See, look at here. They are saying that controlling is the function of maintaining a balance. So, we have to maintain a balance between effort, results, resources and the objectives. So, whatever efforts we are putting, are we getting proper results? If yes, then our activity or our process is okay. And if not, then there is some deviation, some type of corrective action will require. So that's a function of controlling. Then it comes to the resources and objectives. So whatever resources we have employed or we have utilized. Now, one thing you will remind it that resources are always limited in nature. So according to the resources, we should able to achieve our objectives. And if we are not able to achieve the objectives, then we have to find out the reasons why we are not able to achieve the objectives, which are the particular reasons, and then after we have to take the corrective actions, and that is the controlling. So once again, the process of controlling states that the controlling is the function of maintaining a balance. We have to maintain the balance among four things: efforts, second comes the results, third comes the resources, and the last comes the objectives. So that's the definition of controlling. Now, second definition of the controlling, important one and very easy one. The function of controlling is to see whether all of business, that is the all activity of the business, are done with the conformity of planning or not. Now the word conformity stands for the according to. Okay. So conformity means according to. So in simple words we can say like that. Controlling means we have to see whether activities are done according to plan or not. And if not, then we have to take the corrective actions. Now this is the function of controlling. You can also write in your own words. It's not a expert definition or it's not any kind of writer's definition which should be put in inverted comma. But this is the most convenient language given in your textbook. So you will remind this definition. If it is asked in a one-line question answer, you can write this one or this one also. But out of the two, this is the most easy and convenient definition. Once again, the function of controlling is to see whether all activities of business are done with the conformity of planning or not. That is according to planning or not. For your convenience, you can also write the word according to instead of conformity. That's fine, no issue. Okay. Now the controlling has a two concept. One is the traditional concept, and it's a negative approach. The second is the modern time. It's a positive concept. Now, why we say that? Now, in traditional time, generally it is believed that controlling is a negative function of management. That means in controlling, we have to put some kind of restriction on the employee. We have to prevent them by such a kind of activity which they are doing. And if employee does any mistake, then we'll punish them, we'll dismiss them, we'll fire out with them. Now, these kind of negativities are associated with the function of controlling in the traditional time. But if you see in the modern concept, the function of the controlling is not a negative one, it's actually the positive one. It's like a brake in the vehicle. Okay. Now, brakes are there in our vehicle. It actually stops the vehicle. But if you understand in better way, then it actually allows us to drive the vehicle in better way. Reason, let's say we are driving a vehicle and we have to turn somewhere, and we have the brakes. Then what we'll do? We'll apply the brakes so that limit, that is the speed limit, will be controlled, and we are able to turn quite easily. But let's say another situation in which we don't have the brakes in our vehicle. Then what will happen? The speed cannot be controlled. So either we are not able to turn properly, or we'll go straight, or the accident may happen. So we cannot say like that the brake is a negative function of the vehicle. Actually, the brake is a very positive function of the vehicle. It allows us to drive safely. It allows us to drive smoothly. So just like that, the controlling function of the management in modern time, it's a very positive function. So controlling is a corrective activity. See, it's a corrective activity. So as and when required, we have to make the correction, because the function of controlling is not to restrict the activity. That is, we don't have to restrict the activities, right? But to direct them in the right direction. See, we have to direct them. We have to actually guide them in the right direction. And if these activities are not done as per planning, so any activities are not done as per the planning, then we have to direct them in a proper way. Now, that was the function of the controlling. So we have completed the three functions of the management right now, and that those functions are staffing, then comes the directing and the controlling. So you will read from your textbook the important point, you will highlight it or put a bracket or make it underline and write in your book as a homework. See, as far as the theory subject is concerned, you will always read the textbook after watching these videos, and after reading the textbook, just make the underlines, brackets or highlights. And after understanding and learning the topic, always have the practice of writing in your book. Because without writing, you are not going to be able to score a good mark in the examination or reminding that particular topic in your mind. So it's advisable. So make sure you do your homework regularly, right? So in the next topic, we will discuss with the another functions of the management, and that will be going to be the coordination.